Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year. The first book on my 10 before the end is The Will of the Many by James Islington, book 1 in the Hierarchy series. This is a big fantasy book. The second book is coming out this month in November, and I've been hearing so much hype about it because I've heard so much hype about this book and how absolutely amazing it is. And I've been putting it off because I'm afraid I'm not going to love it, and if I don't love it, I'm going to be sad. And I want to be happy. If you haven't heard anything about this book, I'm going to read a little blurb for you. It says, at the elite Catenin Academy, a young fugitive uncovers layered mysteries and world-changing secrets in this new fantasy series by internationally best-selling author of the Licanius trilogy, James Islington. The Catenin Republic, the Hierarchy, may rule the world now, but they do not know everything. I tell them my name is Vis Telemus. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into their most prestigious school. I tell them that once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me as millions already do, as all must eventually do. I tell them that I belong, and they believe me. But the truth is, I've been sent to the academy to find answers, to solve a murder, to search for an ancient weapon, to uncover secrets that may tear the Republic apart, and that I will never, ever cede my will to the empire that executed my family. Long blurb, but I wanted to do this book justice. I'm very excited. Next on my 10 before the end is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is not too long, so I should be able to get to it. I don't know why I haven't read this, because I have read 2 other books by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I gave them both 5 stars, as well as a novella, which I gave 4.5 stars. And I don't know why I'm putting it off. I think it's maybe just because the topic doesn't necessarily interest me as much, because this takes place with our main character who is going to space and is an astronaut, so maybe that's why I put it off. I don't know. But I wanted to put it on my 10 before the end because I want to read it before the end of the year, and I think it will win the Goodreads fiction category. And I'm planning on trying to do a vlog series after that's all announced of reading the winner and then like the 20th place nominee, just to see like, oh, which one would I like more. So I'm pretty sure this will be on it, so I want to read it. That's all. Then another one I want to read is not released yet, but is releasing very soon, and that is called Eternal Ruin by Tigist Girma. This is book 2 in the Immortal Dark trilogy. I read book 1, Immortal Dark, last fall, and I gave it 5 stars. I have the first printing special edition. They're doing a first printing special edition for the second book. I am very, very excited to read it, and I actually didn't know it was coming out until a couple weeks ago. So I'm glad that I found out so that I can read it as soon as possible, and hopefully it will be a 5-star like the first one. First book is right here, and this is actually categorized as a YA fantasy novel. It is quite dark for YA in my opinion, but it's got a really cool first printing sprayed edge that says no soul can enter without an invitation. And this is a vampire fantasy. I would say not fully an urban fantasy because it's not, I think, in our world, but it is a more urban setting. And it's been a while since I've read it. But it says, a lost heiress, a soulless vampire, a secret drenched in blood. It began long before my time, but something has always hunted our family. So this follows our FNC. Her name is Kadan Adane, and she is an heiress to this family, but she's orphaned, and so she wasn't aware of it until just recently. She was born into this family where human bloodlines gain power through vampire companionship. And her sister June disappears, and Kadan is convinced that this legendary vampire called Susenyos Saged has taken her to be his companion. And she has to infiltrate a university called Uxley University in order to try to find her sister and take down this evil vampire. And this main character is really interesting because she's quite wicked, she's quite dark, she's a little bit different than most main characters. She's not super likable either, And I wonder if maybe that's why I like this, just because it was so unique and different, and I'm really looking forward to the second book. Another one that I have on my 10 before the end is Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen. I don't have the dust jacket on it because I am actually in the middle of reading this. I'm about 50 pages in, and I am really enjoying it so far. It is an adult fantasy novel. This is another one that kind of takes place in a university setting, although it kind of drops you right into it without explaining too much of the world, so it is a little bit hard to follow, so you really have to like focus when you read it. But it's got this really beautiful map of the world as well, and it's a very, very detailed world, and just the concepts that are in the book so far, even 50 pages in, are really, really unique and different. So I'm excited to see if I like it going further in. And this is another book that I have started and stopped DNF just because of the timing. I've really enjoyed what I've read of it so far, but I think I'm going to restart it. And that is The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. This is book 1 in the Oak and Holly cycle. Again, another beautiful first printing edition. I have the second book that is purple sprayed edges like this, and there is a third book coming out in next year. I think maybe in March or April. So I need to read this to continue the series. The little bit that I did read of it, I did really enjoy. It is a little bit more of an urban fantasy setting because it takes place in our world in New York City. And basically, in this now modern world, 13 years in the past, monsters just took over the entire city. I think it's like the entire US. I'm not sure if it's just a portion or what, but they took over. And so now New York City is run by all of these evil like monsters, and the humans are kind of like subservient to them. Our female main character, her name is Kierce, and she is just kind of living in this world as a thief who is stealing valuable like artifacts and things from people's homes. And she has been given a role to try to break into a monster's home to steal like a valuable artifact. And she's breaking into what they call the Holly Library. And that's where she meets our monster creature, who is not described in the synopsis, so I won't go further than that. But there is also like this monster treaty that has been made up between the monsters and the humans, and when she goes into this home to try to steal this potentially very important artifact, that treaty has been broken, and so we have to kind of see what happens from there. It's got really cool end papers that are of that super modern dystopian-esque New York City. Then another book I want to read, which I'm thinking of picking up in November, even though it's not on my TBR, that is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. That's book 2 in the Wicked Games series, because this does give a little bit of spooky fall vibes, so I'm hoping to get to it in November. I don't know much about this one because the second one, all I know is that it follows the sister of our FMC from the first book. Our FMC from the first book was Ophelia, and then her sister's name is Genevieve, I believe, and she is entering into her own little challenge of some type of wicked games and trials, just like her sister did when she entered Phantasma in the first book. Another one that I know I'm going to read before the end of the year because it is a Christmas book, that is Holly by Adeline Grace. This is book 3.5 in the Belladonna series. They call it a novella. It's like 300 pages, so I wouldn't say it's a novella, but whatever. This is just a fun little one-shot of our characters from books 1 through 3. And I won't say more because that will spoil like who are the couples, but I believe there is a mystery involved in this one, just like the previous other ones. It is a fantasy world, and I just love the cover. And now I have all the Barnes & Noble exclusive editions of these as well, with those special sprayed edges, so I'm very excited. And then another book on my time before the end that is on my November TBR this year is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, with the pretty purple sprayed edges and the beautiful art cover. I have The Enchanted Greenhouse as well, and I've just heard really good things about this book, and I just wanted to read it, so that's why I put it on here. It's nothing like super important. It is a cozy fantasy. It has a sentient spider plant that talks with our main character, which I think is really, really fun. And she's magical, and It says, a lush cottagecore tale full of stolen spellbooks, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. And there's also like a really cool library in this book too. So it just sounded fun and cozy, and I wanted an easy peasy book on my 10 before the end. And another one that is on my November TBR and my 10 before the end is How Women Made Music, a revolutionary history from NPR Music. This is a nonfiction book. I talked about this in my November TBR video, which I will try to remember to link above. It basically just talks about the really important women in music throughout the years and their legacies and what they wrote and different sections on that. And then finally, this one has been, I think, on like 2 different TBRs and I haven't read it, and that is Faithbreaker by Hannah Gaynor. It is book 3 in the Fallen Gods trilogy. I want to read this to determine if I need to keep the series, because I gave book 1 4 stars, and then I listened to book 2 and I gave it 3 stars. I didn't really like it very much because all of our characters were separated and it just didn't hit as much as the first book. This one, they're still separated, so we will see if I like them. I've got these from Half Price Books, so they weren't too expensive. So if I don't like them, I can just sell the series back. And those are all 10 of the books that I want to read before the end of the year. I know I'll get to at least maybe 3 or 4 for sure, but we will see if I get to all of them. Maybe if I didn't have to go to work and do all the things, I could get to all these books. But life likes to throw a wrench in things. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye, guys.